Okay, so I guess the idea for today is to try and build some kind of really small game in our new language. And I was thinking of some kind of tile-based, turn-based game. And I had in mind like something like Minecraft, but in 2D and top-down. So we'll see how far we can go into that. But like, yeah, sure. First, as you already know, we already are able to have a window and have some Raylib already ported into our language. So what we have to do is to just, try to use it as best as possible. So let's create say game.cl file, and I guess I'll just copy the Raylib stuff that we have lying around, and let me just also add it into the make file here. So it's gonna be the same as Raylib, but it's gonna be called game. Let's say game. Right. So I'm really curious if we'll be able to finish the game without having to touch the source code of the compiler. Probably we'll have to implement more functionalities from Raylib, but that's fine. That's not part of, let's say, the compiler code. It's more like part of the cool language. So yeah, first we should try to draw a screen or something, like, let's say, the map, and also player. So the player will be a square in the middle, and I guess getting the input, that would be interesting. So yeah, let's see how we can actually do that. So probably we'll have a class player, right? And it should have an x, like the position, y for the y and x. How about the size, like size x, size y? Maybe we can call this position. Let's have an initialize function. Yeah, I think this looks good. And I guess drawing the stuff and so on, that would be like, we could have an update function and a render function or something like that, right? And just draw, like in update we draw the rectangle, and in update we take the input. So sure, let's make a draw function. It should take a Raylib object, and it just draws the rectangle. Well, we should make sure that we don't have any syntax errors. So just like this. So I think this should work initializing and drawing. So at this point, we can create a player, and let's say it's gonna be, I see that here we use 10 10 10, so let's maybe make it a bit larger, like 100 by 100. Right, so this is gonna be the player, Minecraft 2D or something. So yeah, basically inside of this function then I'm gonna do a begin drawing, Raylib, and drawing. Yeah, let's try to clear the background, remove this stuff we won't use it, and then here let's try to draw the player. Right, so let's see if we rebuild our examples. Okay, we have, I guess I'm just gonna use cool C examples just to make it a bit faster. Okay. Okay, I mean the first one is just debug. And on line 33 there's a... Okay, so here I missed the semicolon. Okay, so here it should be actually self type. And I would like if well, I'm not even sure what draw should return, to be honest. I think that draw rectangle returns Raylib, so maybe we can say self type, and for example, like if we do this, we can return self, and maybe we can chain it with the update, so have, but I don't know if that makes sense. So let's just keep it this, and maybe say it returns Raylib, because that's what draw rectangle returns. Alright, so I guess here we also need to return self. I don't know how I got there. Okay, so it looks like it compiled, so let's see. Oh, it's a game. So we have a square, right? But I would like to put it in the middle of the screen, so can we maybe Raylib.cl let me just add this file here so we have it. We are also going to need this file so we can switch between them, maybe like this. Yeah, okay. So inside of Raylib.h I'm pretty sure there's a method to get the screen height, so screen height and screen width. Right, we have these methods, although I'm not even sure we need them. Because we have here, we already have it. So let's say screen width is gonna be 800 and screen height is gonna be 600. So screen width and screen height. And now instead of 10 and 10 we can say screen width divided by 2, screen height divided by 2. So it should be in the middle, right? I guess this is in the middle, so we have to shift it. Okay. Let's also say player size. And since we are doing squares, I'm just gonna do player size, and that's the only thing. So player size divided by 2 minus player size divided by 2, and the player is gonna be a square. So, and now we have it in the middle. That's pretty good. Alright, so the next step, I guess the next step would be to get input, right? So Raylib.h. I can also add this one. Yeah. So I'm curious how input key pressed, right? So is key pressed? I think this is what we want. It checks if a key has been pressed once. So let's copy it. Right, let's paste it in here, maybe as a comment. Right, and yeah, I guess the completion looks fine. So you know, maybe actually sorting these methods as well would make sense. Like having something like this. But you know, for now I'll just do it for the new methods. The old methods will stay like that. Okay, and these are the colors. So for example, light gray. Let's also copy the comment. I mean, since we are copying stuff, at least let's copy it entirely, you know. Okay. Alright, so what we have to do is go ahead and implement this method in Raylib.asm. So I guess let's also add Raylib.asm in here. And yeah, let's see. Let's copy the last method that I did, and let's just do it. So Raylib is key pressed, right? Let's take the comment, and I guess the idea in this assembly file is that we want to just call to the real Raylib function. So here, for example, we were calling to draw rectangle, but here we need to declare as an external function is key pressed. So that's the idea. Okay, so this should get the key code as or I guess it's just key, and Rex is gonna contain a bool object. Right, check if a key has been pressed. So what we have to do is, first of all, in the Raylib methods, we kind of have to make sure that the stack is 16 byte aligned. And yeah, basically when we enter a function, it's gonna be not aligned, so we have to push something, and now it's aligned. Then we subtract a space for a local variable, so it's no longer aligned, and if you push another stuff, it's gonna be again aligned. So you just have to make sure that it's going to happen. So here we take the first argument, right? We only need the first argument basically. And I guess we are gonna call to isKeyPressed. We call to isKeyPressed. I don't see any example here with creating a boolean. So, oh, actually I do. That's perfect. So I guess we have to allocate more memory then. Okay, then I guess still fine. Right, let's see what we can do. So we can replace this. We have to change this here in the bottom. All right, so I guess we are gonna store the value of isKeyPressed, and RDI contains the key. All right, so we store that in T1. Then we create a new boolean object, right? And we set the value of that boolean object to whatever the isKeyPressed returned, right? So just like that. Here we return the boolean object. Alright, so now we should have this function or this method available, right? Because we implemented it. Now the only thing is keyPressed is, do we have some sort of defines for each key code? Maybe key. Okay, we do. I guess we only care about WASD, right? So we have A, so let's just add here a comment for that, right? And yeah, we just need WASD, I guess, as I said. So, you know, key W, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. So is it 87? Key W, yeah. We also need A. It's 65. Right. Key S, 68. Wow, that was really close. .68 and 83. So 83. So yeah, we have them as constants, right? So let's see if this thing works, right? So we're gonna have an update that gets in a Raylib, and I guess it can return a Raylib. So if Raylib.isKey down, then we are gonna say that the position should decrease. Should be decreased, right? Then we need the else. If we have key D, perfect. Let's just use Copilot for we can do nothing, for example, and then we need to call fee 4 times. Let's do it like that. So basically yeah, like it doesn't do anything, something like that. So let's just try to do this. Right, so let's make it, build it. I guess it's isKey pressed. Can I do something like this? Okay, cool. So, okay. Oh, but I press the keys and nothing happens. Let's chill because I forgot to actually call the function. So we can say something like player.update, and what I'm not sure about is, do we want to update everything first and then draw everything, right? So I guess we can call this stuff outside of begin draw. Holy shit, it moves. This is amazing. To be honest, I wasn't expecting it to work, but it actually works. Sure, we should move it a bit more, and I guess since it's gonna be tile based, we should actually move it, you know, this amount. So instead of pose X, let's say size X, size X, size Y, size Y. Bruh, I mean, come on, this is really nice. This is quite cool. Like, for example, make it, I don't know, 25. Well, I mean, 25, maybe it's a bit too small. But, yeah, I guess we can make a game like Snake in some way, just to keep things really simple, and have random stuff spawning on the map, be it like enemies or food. And I don't know, like if you eat the food, you are invincible for a few seconds, and you can kill enemies that way or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah, maybe having it a bit larger is better. Sure, you can go out of bounds, but alright. So yeah, I mean, I guess the next step would be to get something like some collectibles on the map to make it a bit more satisfying. So maybe have another class for collectibles. So I don't know, something like food or power up. I guess we can have like a coin for now. It will be like the points that you can collect, right? So how should it work? I guess it should have the same constructor. And does this mean that we can have a base class for this thing? So class game object. Although this is like a rectangle game object, maybe we want to have circles. So let's just say that the game object is just the position, right? Like this. Then the player also has this part, but maybe have a class rectangle object which should inherit game object. It's also gonna have size, right? So now player can inherit rectangle object. I guess this is pretty scuffed, but if it works, it works. Let's say circle object, right? So the coin is gonna be a circle object. Inherits circle object, and I think the initialization is good. But see, for this one we need draw circle. So if we try to recompile, okay, let me just do not have that warning there. Let's specify the allocator. But yeah, it's gonna complain that draw circle is not defined. So does Raylib have draw circle? It does. Perfect. Although, whoops, we don't have floats, but no, it doesn't matter, we can use integers. So let's go to our I guess let's copy this comment first. Let's have basic shapes, right? So circle, I guess we also have rectangle somewhere around here, so I modify this thing. Okay, draw circle. And as I said, probably draw rectangle comes here. So draw circle, right? Draw circle. We don't really have a float, so, but yeah, I mean, we can implement data type for float and use ints, like for example have an integer be the number and an integer represent the part after the comma. That's stupid, but yeah, not gonna use triple E. So I guess this is this, right? Yeah, we cannot really use float, so I guess that's that. All right, so the next thing we have to do is okay, let's first of all let's just import the draw circle, and let's go to draw rectangle, and this is gonna be really similar, so let's just copy paste. Now the only thing that I'm not really happy about is this 24, so let's just say in slot, because it's on the same address as the int, so draw circle. Let's see if it can figure out draw color fill circle. Sure. Alright, so this is gonna be center X. Just to double check, it's center, yeah. It's not center E, like the center radius. I mean, it's sad, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, maybe, as I said, maybe in the future we'll have what to do to have floats, maybe with IEEE floats. So okay, let's not think about it. I mean, I did this thing once before and it was really painful, so, but maybe I was just dumb then, so who knows. But I don't recommend it. It's yeah, we'll see. Like, we can try to have a float. But yeah, like for example, the float for now, I mean, let's just add it so that I'm not sure if we should add it in Prelude. Right, so like specifically in this file, right? Because I wanted to keep the prelude as close to the original language as possible, but no, let's do class float, right? and for now it's just gonna have an integer value. So yeah, the question is, should it well, it could be extern, right? Right, it could be extern and try to do it that way. Yeah, and instead of these things, like I would like some other namings, like for example first slot and maybe second slot, you know, just to have the same thing as this. Yeah, but you know, that's on me, right? So let's not waste time with that right now. But yeah, I would be really interested to see what we can do here. So if we want to do this, but this would be like, we cannot really have float values, like this isn't something that's in cool. So I would probably have to add from int, let's say. Oh, I'm really annoyed by something. I mixed. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. So we have from int, maybe, and to int or something like that. Right, so maybe that's the idea of how to use floats. But for now, floats are gonna be kind of useless. So yeah. So for now, let's keep it as an integer, right? And it's gonna be something like this, right? Like from int and to int. And yeah, you know, whatever. So this can be like this, and it doesn't even need to be external. It can be just that this returns a self type. So it's gonna be just like that, and this one is gonna be just value. So we can have like a wrapper around an integer for now, right? Yeah. So then here, yeah, we can use float. All right, we can use float. Great. So let me just say slot 0. It's gonna be 24. Slot 1. We don't need that many, but for the moment. And now instead of that we can say slot 0, because the integer is on the first slot. Right. Or it's like the first attribute. Alright, so for the first two it's pretty easy, right? But for this one we also have to do something more. Like here is RAX, then we add slot 0 and then we take RDX. Right, it's the same thing as the color. So for color, yeah, it actually is the same thing. But wait a second, we have to use RCX. Yeah, in this one there was a comment like saying that R10 is the fourth argument, but it's actually RCX. Pretty weird if you ask me. Okay, so I think this should probably do it. So let's just put a coin at some position, a random position. Oh. Yeah, and I guess game objects should have update that just returns Raylib and draw. Right, so like all objects can update and draw basically. So here we can coin update and coin draw. Let's see. Okay, I was pretty sure that we're gonna get syntax errors inside of prelude.cl. So 210. Okay. Alright, so I guess where's the coin? Okay. So this should be a float. Alright, and this also should be a float. And for example, here we can say new float from int. And let's say it's gonna be 25, why not? Right, so we don't have color gold. Is that a thing? It actually is. It's interesting. So that should come somewhere here. So gold. Yeah, that's good. Okay, but I cannot see the coin, so might be a small issue. Well, I guess it is because how do we pass the radius, right? So let's see. Here for draw rectangle, wait, why doesn't it complain? Did I just delete it? I guess we cannot see the error. Like if we go back and we just run this, it should complain, right? Symbol is already defined. But if we go back and retry, it works. However, I cannot see the coin, so and I guess, like, my guess is, first of all, this should be arc3. You know what, let's try one thing. Let's try to do this here, R8, just for debugging purposes. I guess let's try to call to draw a rectangle. So yeah, like this works, right? So the method is called correctly. I guess the issue is somewhere else. And my guess is that since this should be a float, it shouldn't be in RDX, it should be somewhere else. So let's see. x86 64 method call float argument. Okay, that's XMM. I mean, obviously, but Phasm. Okay, why not just have this as the first thing? So let's search for XMM. Right? Bro, like, you see how useless this comment is? But maybe the question is different. So like, I'm interested in, let's say, function calls that, you know, require So maybe what it actually is passed in XMM 0 is the first, okay, I is the first integer pointer, so it goes in RDI. Okay, so that means that, for example, here this still passes in RDX, but the question is, where does this pass, right? Because that's what I'm understanding from this comment. It's saying that regardless of if you have floats, they don't take away the registers, right? Like this would be considered if we go here. What I'm understanding is that the arguments to this function would be int color, and then the float is sent separately. So right, so what would happen if we try to, like, we still don't have that, right? So how do we move into XMM? We can do something like this, move oops, something like this. I would say maybe like REX. Okay, I mean, I saw something, so let's put a 0. Oh, 0 doesn't work. Let's put, 10.0. So for some reason it kind of worked. Okay, let's not try to, skip stuff. Let's see. So those are the only ways to move stuff. These are like comparisons and other things. Like, I was just curious if you can put immediate values in XMM. Yeah, you know what I remember actually? That Phasm Raylib project that I showed you, right? Like, I'm pretty sure it was using XMM. Yeah, I guess I have to put this project in the README. Yeah, see, for example, oh, it's move Q. Really? I think I was just on it. Move quad word. Okay, let's try it. Move Q. Alright, doesn't work. Let's try to But yeah, like the thing is that draw rectangle takes in, if I remember correctly, takes in something big. So that doesn't really help. So this is like an entire structure. So for example, move quad word. Can we? Doesn't look like it. Okay, let's try to just run it like this, see if there are any errors. Yeah, not really sure. Interesting. Because I think that, so this is a double word, but like position plus 8. It's only this thing. So let's see, for example, we try this just as a meme, I guess. Alright, so position. Okay, so it looks like that actually works in some weird way. So let's try to figure out which one is the radius. It looks like this is the radius, right? The first one. Yeah. This is move quad word. Is there also move D? I think I saw move D. Move D. General register or 32-bit memory. So if we do move D, still works. Move double word. Okay, and if we try to move RX, invalid size. Yeah, but when I was trying to do move Q, it didn't work. I guess the only option is to actually just GDB it. But break start. Okay. The only thing that's really annoying now is getting to this position. So can we hex or like obj I guess no one will use mov q. Oh my god, no one's gonna use this. Can we maybe search for draw circle? Draw circle. Not really. I just wanted to see what's the address of we don't even have start. What? Yeah, minus D, but this is like everything. Okay, let's see if we have a start. Yeah, whatever. Because there's no way I'm gonna try to get to this point. Well, I guess there is a way. How do you do R2 graph mode? I guess it's radare. Yeah, no, I just wanted to see the visual graph. But there's no... Oh, VV. All right. I'll be honest, I don't know what happens. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a better question would be assembly int to float. Field instruction. Integer load from memory. Interesting. Is this a real thing? So this loads the data move SS. Okay, let's see. I guess oh. Looks like that's enough. All right. Yeah, interesting. Like doing this convert double Q to PS, whatever PS means. Anyway. We should probably have a list of these things. Or something like that. Or have a list of position and what object is at that position. That could also work. But yeah, basically like the update of the coin might I guess it doesn't make sense to have something like this. Probably doesn't even make sense to have all of that crap, like let's just keep it simple. Because the logic might change, and yeah, like it was more like a joke to use OP. Yeah, but yeah, I was thinking that it might be a good idea to have a list of coins and be able to delete and take from that list, but I guess it works anyway. Probably have an update and I would also say a player. I wouldn't say that we need to check the collision, because we should be easily able to tell if the positions are equal, right? Like, you know, it's just if... Wait, I'm curious, what was... Interesting. To be honest, I would just say enabled is equal to boolean, and here if enabled, then this happens, else it's just Raylib. Just like that. And for the update, if enabled, then we're gonna do something, right? On the else case, we just return this. And I don't think we need the braces, right? So obviously we don't need the semicolon there. But if we are enabled, right, then we might want to do a few things. Is enabled is equal to false, right? Probably enabled is equal to true here. And yeah, let's see 53. Okay, Raylib. I guess an easier way would be to have something like this. It's like, okay, the if does something, and at the end we just return Raylib. So then here update also takes in player, takes the player. Okay, so that guess that didn't really work. Wait. What the hell is this? But I don't get why it's still being drawn. If I do not enable it, it's not shown, right? Like this sets enabled to false, so oh my god, I always forget about like this shouldn't draw it basically, because it's gonna be set to false instantly. What we also have to do is do an AND, right? Oh, yeah, we need we need to be able to get the position, so let's add something like pos x and pos y. Right, and we can have variables with the same, or functions with the same name, I guess. So here, and I guess pos x is equal to player pos x, and right, so we and all of them together. Oh, yeah. And I guess, as I said, the check is not really going to work because, yeah, each thing has its own position. We have to make it grid based. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily grid based, but have the player position be actually its center, you know, so without this thing, right? So basically without that, so now when we say this, it's gonna, yeah, pretty much we can see that it works, but we want it to be here we want to subtract size divided by 2 and size y divided by 2. So basically now it's right on the center. Perfect. So yeah, we can have a single coin that, you know, not really that it's gonna become disabled or enabled, but it's gonna move once you take it. Right, so it has to reinit itself. All right. So let's say it's gonna be this thing, and here we kind of need some random numbers, if we have random. All right, this looks pretty good. Random values. Let's put that here. So set random seed, right? And I guess get random value. So let's go to our thing here and let's add extern set random seed, right? That's how it's called. And get random value. Perfect. I guess set random seed is gonna be similar to this. Set random seed. Alright, it's gonna take in an integer and it's gonna return self. So as here we take the first argument we call to set random key, set random seed I meant, and at the end we just move into RAX the B register. Okay, so we only have to allocate one variable, just again to keep the stack aligned, and this is set random seed. Alright, and I guess I can copy this one, probably is the most similar to get random value, right? Yeah, both are included. Okay, min and max. So here min, max, an int object. Perfect. Probably 3 variables is enough. So RDI is gonna be that, RAX is gonna be the second one, and we have to move it into RSI. Come on. And here get random value. Perfect. We put it into T1. Here we need to create a new integer like this. This creates a new integer. Perfect. Puts it into lock 0. Then we need slot 0 here. Yeah, I think this should be, it's almost good. You just have to change this function name. Alright, so that means we have random. So let's say here dot set random seed to 0, for example. We might be able to include time, but we'll see. Okay, and here, okay, and I guess we don't even need enabled anymore. Perfect. So we are just gonna randomize the position, right? So we are gonna do get random value, let's say between 0 and 5 or something for now, but we have to multiply it with I guess with the grid size, but okay. Is it something wrong maybe in here? Take the first one, the second one. Oh, get random value. Thanks for reminding me. Just kidding. Okay, so yep, now it changes position. That's pretty interesting. It's like snake but without the snake. I guess we can try to do snake, right? But you know, that's like now we have a prototype that we can actually play around, and it's, I guess it's Now Raylib is just ported into this language, but it's still pretty amazing how we got from, like, if you think about it, we started from nothing, and yeah, now we have the, like, even though we use libc for memory allocation and Raylib for graphics, it's still, you know, impressive that we can actually call them from our language. Right, that we can actually generate an assembly that does that. And yeah, I mean, the only thing that I don't like about cool is the fact that it's object oriented. Like, that's the only thing that I find completely useless, because I don't know, I'm just not a fan of OOP, to be honest. Like, I feel like we can do everything that we want in this game without using OOP. Like, still using classes, of course, as structures, but you know, like, we don't need any inheritance for anything fancy. Maybe just if we have the list, like that's the only part. Like, I would like to have to use the case statement. That's like, the case statement is something that I really like about cool language. It's really, like, you can implement really nice data structures. For example, you can have a result like in Rust, and then from result you inherit, sure, now we use inheritance, you will inherit the OK class and the error class, right? And in error you have the value and whatnot, and in error you have the error. And yeah, basically you can do case like you do match. So that's like, that's the same thing. You have constructors for your base type. So we can, I mean, yeah, sure, we can try to use case, because that's what was like, that's what feels really interesting about cool language, the pattern matching on the types. But yeah, I guess we'll try to do snake, right? I feel like that's the easiest thing that we can achieve in this game, because I'm already just thinking about it. We can have a linked list of snakes, you know, like the parts of the snake, and we already have the coin or the apple, how it's called, right? So basically we just have to convert our player into a linked list, make it always move, and each time you get an apple you also increase the size. So I guess that's what we should do. So yeah, I guess we'll see in the next one when we implement the snake game, the actual snake game. So yeah, see you then.